Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Gopal. There's some, yeah. Oh. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Srila Guru Deva. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, my dear devotees. Thank you for coming to today's program of initiations. When Srila Prabhupada would give initiations, he would speak about the 10 offenses, because devotees are being initiated into the chanting of the holy names. And to get the full benefit of the chanting, one should avoid the 10 offenses. Srila Prabhupada discusses the 10 offenses in many purports in his books. And I've decided to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, text 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akutobhayam yoginam nripa nirnitam harer namanukirtanam etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akutobhayam yoginam ripanirnitam harir namanukirtanam etan nirvidyamananam ichatam akutobhayam yoginam ripanirnitam harir namanukirtanam etat it is nirvidyamananam of those who are completely free from all material desires. Ichatam of those who are desirous of all sorts of material enjoyment. Akutabhayam, free from all doubts and fear. Yoginam, of all who are self-satisfied. Nripa, O King, Nirnitam, decided truth. Hare, of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Nama, holy name. Anu, after someone. Always. Kirtanam, chanting. Translation. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. Please repeat. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord, after the ways of the great authorities, is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada's translation is beautiful, how he has incorporated different meanings of the words, especially the word anu, Anu means to follow, like we are Rup Anugas, followers of Rupa Goswami. And Anu also means continuous. So he has incorporated both meanings. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So this chanting is recommended basically for anyone and everyone. If we consider our own positions, we will fit into one of these categories, or maybe even a combination of categories. So now we read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the previous verse, the great necessity for attaining attachment to Mukunda has been accredited. There are different types of persons who desire to attain success in different varieties of pursuits. Generally, the persons are materialists who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material gratification. Next to them are the transcendentalists, who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment and are thus aloof from such an illusory way of life. More or less, they are satisfied in themselves by self-realization. Above them are the devotees of the Lord, who neither aspire to enjoy the material world nor desire to get out of it. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord, Sri Krishna. In other words, the devotees of the Lord do not want anything on their personal account. If the Lord desires, the devotees can accept all sorts of material facilities. And if the Lord does not desire this, the devotees can leave aside all sorts of facilities, even up to the limit of salvation. Nor are they self-satisfied, because they want the satisfaction of the Lord only. In this verse, Sri Shukadev Goswami recommends the transcendental chanting of the holy name of the Lord. By offenseless chanting and hearing of the holy name of the Lord, one becomes acquainted with the transcendental form of the Lord, then with the attributes of the Lord, then with the transcendental nature of his pastimes, etc. So yes, we begin with the name, Nama, then Rupa, the form of the Lord, Guna, the qualities of the Lord, Lila, the pastimes of the Lord. They are all included in the holy name, and they are all revealed through offenseless chanting of the holy name. Here it is mentioned that one should constantly chant the holy name of the Lord after hearing it from authorities. This means that hearing from the authorities is the first essential. Hearing of the holy name gradually promotes one to the stage of hearing about his forms, about his attributes, about his pastimes, and so on. and thus the necessity of the chanting of his glories develops successively. This process is recommended not only for the successful execution of devotional service, but also even for those who are materially attached. According to Sri Shukadeva Goswami, this way of attaining success is an established fact, concluded not only by him, but also by all other previous acharyas. Therefore, there is no need of further evidence. So, yes, it's a decided truth. The process is recommended not only for the progressive students in different departments of ideological success, but also for those who are already successful in their achievement as fruitive workers, as philosophers, or as devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami instructs that chanting of the holy name of the Lord should be loudly done, and it should be performed offenselessly as well as recommended in the Padma Purana. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. Yes, Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayisyami Ma Suja. If one surrenders to Krishna, he will free one from all sinful actions and reactions. One can deliver himself from the effects of all sins by surrendering himself unto the Lord. One can deliver himself from all offenses at the feet of the Lord by taking shelter of his holy name. But one cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. So did you know that the holy name has feet? It does, because the holy name is Krishna. One cannot protect himself if one commits an offense at the feet of the holy name of the Lord. Such offenses are mentioned in the Padma Purana as being 10 in number. The first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. This is called sadhu ninda, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for preaching the holy name of the Lord. And in his book, Harinam Chintamani, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur discusses the 10 offenses, and he elaborately describes the first offense, sadhu ninda, to blaspheme devotees. And he enumerates different grounds on which someone could criticize a devotee, such as the devotee's low birth, the devotee's past sinful activities, the devotee's traces of sinful activities even after coming to devotional service, and so on. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that none of these are valid grounds for criticizing a devotee, sadhu ninda. And he says that if one, by chance, unfortunately, blasphemes a devotee, then with the same tongue with which he blasphemed the devotee, he should glorify the devotee. So, the first offense is to vilify the great devotees who have preached about the glories of the Lord. The second offense is to see the holy name of the Lord in terms of worldly distinction. The Lord is the proprietor of all the universes, and therefore he may be known in different places by different names. But that does not in any way qualify, which means limit, the fullness of the Lord. Any nomenclature which is meant for the Supreme Lord is as holy as the others, because they are all meant for the Lord. Such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish the names of the Lord as material commodities. So when Srila Prabhupada visited Tehran, Iran, his disciple, very intelligent devotee, Atreya Rishi Das, waxed eloquent about the day when all the Muslims in Iran would chant Hare Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada responded, why do you want that they should chant only Hare Krishna? They can also chant Allah, Allah. We are not sectarian. So, and of course, I mean, philosophically that's true, and also, it could have been a little dangerous to try to get the Muslims in Iran to chant Hare Krishna. So here, such holy names are as powerful as the Lord, and there is no bar for anyone in any part of the creation to chant and glorify the Lord by the particular name of the Lord as it is locally understood. They are all auspicious, and one should not distinguish such names of the Lord as material commodities. The third offense is to neglect the orders of the authorized acharyas or spiritual masters. Yeah, this is Gurur Avagya, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. The fourth offense is to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge. So there are different degrees of offense. There are offenses committed in the mind, offenses committed with words, and offenses committed with the body. Once the sages wanted to test who is supreme, Brahma, Shiva, or Vishnu. And so they sent Bhrigu Muni to each of them. So Bhrigu Muni first went to Lord Brahma. And Bhrigu Muni is a son of Lord Brahma. And he did not offer any obeisance or respect to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma became angry. But then with his great intelligence, he controlled himself. So that is an offense committed in the mind. He didn't say anything offensive or do anything offensive, but he just neglected to offer respect when it was due. So that's the mildest type of offense. The next Bhrigu Muni visited Lord Shiva, his brother, and Lord Shiva came forward to embrace him. And Bhrigu Muni said, "Oh, don't touch me. You're covered with ashes. You're always associated with ghosts and hobgoblins. And don't come near me." So that was an offense with the words. And then he went to Lord Vishnu, who was reclining. His lotus feet were being massaged by Lakshmi, and he actually kicked the chest of Lord Vishnu, which is the most serious kind of offense, an offense committed with the body. But Lord Vishnu was so sublime, he said, "Bhrigu Muni, I'm so sorry that I could not receive you properly. And I hope that you did not hurt your soft lotus feet on my hard chest." So that's the third kind of offense, the most serious offense committed with the body. And of course, by this, by Bhrigu Muni's visit to the different deities, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, it was clearly concluded that Vishnu was the supreme. So now coming back to this fourth offense, to vilify scriptures or Vedic knowledge. So yes, that would be offensive, to blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literatures in pursuance of the Vedic version. But it's also a subtle offense not to read Srila Prabhupada's books, not to attend the classes on the Vedic literatures. Srila Prabhupada stayed up practically all night translating these books so we could have them to read, and we should not neglect to read them. The fifth offense is to define the holy name of the Lord in terms of one's mundane calculation. The holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord himself, and one should understand the holy name of the Lord to be non-different from him. The sixth offense is to interpret the holy name. The Lord is not imaginary, nor is his holy name. There are persons with a poor fund of knowledge who think the Lord to be an imagination of the worshipper, and therefore think his holy name to be imaginary. Such a chanter of the name of the Lord cannot achieve the desired success in the matter of chanting the holy name. Yes, sometimes this is translated, like in the Nectar of Ocean, consider the glories of the holy name to be imagination or exaggeration. The seventh offense is to commit sins intentionally on the strength of the holy name. In the scriptures, it is said that one can be liberated from the effects of all sinful actions simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who takes advantage of this transcendental method and continues to commit sins on the expectation of neutralizing the effects of sins by chanting the holy name of the Lord is the greatest offender at the feet of the holy name. Such an offender cannot purify himself by any recommended method of purification. In other words, One may be a sinful man before chanting the holy name of the Lord, but after taking shelter in the holy name of the Lord and becoming immune, one should strictly restrain oneself from committing sinful acts with the hope that his method of chanting the holy name will give him protection. Yes, that is very offensive to commit sin on the strength of chanting. And it doesn't work also. The eighth offense is to consider the holy name of the Lord and his chanting method to be equal to some material auspicious activity. There are various kinds of good works for material benefit, but the holy name and his chanting are not mere auspicious holy services. Undoubtedly, the holy name is holy service, but he should never be utilized for such purposes. Since the holy name and the Lord are one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name into the service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or order supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. So in 1973, Srimati Lilavati Munshi, the head of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in Bombay, held a conference, the theme of which was that all of the world's problems could be solved by the Bhagavad Gita. And before the conference began, she invited the participants into her library for an informal discussion. So there was one man, I don't remember his name, sadhu, I guess you could say one sadhu. He had a long white beard and long gray hair. And he said to Srila Prabhupada that he was having meetings, and in the meetings he was telling the people that by chanting the holy names, they can be cured of their material illnesses. He said to Srila Prabhupada, I am gathering people together, you're gathering people together. I am getting them to chant the holy name, you're getting them to chant the holy name. We should cooperate. And Srila Prabhupada said, no. What you are describing is against our principles, and he made the same point. That the holy name is Krishna. He is the supreme master and the supreme enjoyer, and we are meant to act for his pleasure. We are not meant to engage him in our service. We're supposed to engage in his service. Since the holy name and the Lord are of one and the same identity, one should not try to bring the holy name into the service of mankind. The idea is that the Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is no one's servant or order supplier. Similarly, since the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Lord, one should not try to utilize the holy name for one's personal service. The ninth offense is to instruct those who are not interested in chanting the holy name of the Lord about the transcendental nature of the holy name. If such instruction is imparted to an unwilling audience, the act is considered to be an offense at the feet of the holy name. Because they'll consider what you are saying to be, again, imagination or exaggeration. The 10th offense is to become uninterested in the holy name of the Lord, even after hearing of the transcendental nature of the holy name. The effect of chanting the holy name of the Lord is perceived by the chanter as liberation from the conception of false egoism. False egoism is exhibited by thinking oneself to be the enjoyer of the world and thinking everything in the world is meant for the enjoyment of one's self only. The whole materialistic world is moving under such false egoism of I and mine. But the factual effect of chanting the holy name is to become free from such misconceptions. So in the Nectar of Devotion, this offense is described as to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions in the matter, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions in the matter. And the two are related, because if one did have full faith in the holy name, one wouldn't maintain material attachments, but one would realize that all of one's desires can be fulfilled through the chanting of the holy name. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Harinam Chintamani, has mentioned another offense called inattention. Srila Prabhupada instructed that after Mangalarti and before japa, the devotees read the list of the 10 offenses, and they do. They read the list from the Nectar of Devotion. And then usually the devotee will add, it is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. And Sanskrit is such a language that it can be divided in different ways. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has found inattention to be the 9th offense, pramadaha. And he says that if one is inattentive while chanting, all the other offenses can flourish. But if one is attentive while chanting, all the other offenses will be destroyed. So our main focus should be to chant with attention, to articulate each name clearly, and to hear each name attentively. So now we will call forward the new initiates to take their vows and receive their beads and their new names. So we'll start with Bhakta Benjamino. So, how many rounds?
Chanting a minimum of 16 rounds every day.
And what are the 4 regulated principles you vow to follow every day for the rest of your life?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
And is there anything else you would like to say on this auspicious occasion in this august assembly?
I just want to express my sincere gratitude for you accepting me as your disciple and guiding me in this path. And I want to thank so much all this community that welcomed me so nicely. Saranga Thakur Prabhu, Shyamsundar Prabhu, Radha Krishna Prabhu is not here, Mother Kalpataru, Mother Guru Bhakti, Nitya. I'm so grateful to be here, and I hope to spend the rest of my day serving this community, Srila Prabhupada and this and his mission.
Nice. So, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, I'm pleased to accept you as my duly initiated disciple, and henceforth your name shall be Hanuman Das. Padmakar. Okay. So, how many rounds? I think it was okay.
Hare Krishna. Decided to chant minimum 18 rounds every day, Guru Maharaj.
How many?
18 rounds.
Okay. And what are the regulative principles that you vow to follow every day for the rest of your life?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
And is there anything else you would like to say?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So, thank you for accepting me as your disciple. I'm so grateful for this day, and I got a lot of opportunity to serve you when we came from Iskcon Columbus, but we got an opportunity to serve you in Sadhu Sangha, and after that in Dallas, and after to Houston we followed you. Thank you so much for giving us a service, and thank you for giving shelter under your lotus feet. And in the last year, when you went to Vrindavan, you mentioned, somebody asked like, Guru Maharaj, what is the self-realization you got after traveling with Prabhupada for so long time? You mentioned one thing, like it's very, very profounding, like you mentioned like Prabhupada is a perfect master, I am his eternal servant. And I would also like to imbibe some kind of mood that whatever you have, and serve Srila Prabhupada mission to best of my capabilities, and follow in your footsteps, and serve Srila Prabhupada mission to best of my capabilities.
Wonderful, beautiful. Hi. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, I'm pleased to accept you as my duly initiated disciple, and henceforth your name shall be Padmaksha Das. Padmaksha is the name of Krishna, which means that he has beautiful lotus eyes. Right, Pat? Yes. Offer obeisances to Srila Prabhupada first.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru and Gauranga.
So, how many rounds?
I would like to chant 17 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
How many?
17 rounds.
17. Okay, following your husband, that's good. And what are the regulative principles that you vow to follow every day for the rest of your life?
No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication.
And is there anything else you would like to say?
Yeah. I was very thankful that I got an opportunity to serve you with Kalpataru Mataji.
Okay, that's nice. So, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, I'm pleased to accept you as my duly initiated disciple, and henceforth your name shall be Sarva Sweta Dasi. Sarva Sweta is a name for Srimati Radharani, who is very fair. And now, Laura. Oh, how many rounds?
Minimum 16
How often?
every day.
Okay. And what are the regulative principles that you vow to follow every day for the rest of your life?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
And is there anything else you would like to say?
I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for accepting me as a disciple. And I would like to thank the Iskcon of Houston family that I have grown to know and love, and for the opportunities that have been given to serve Prabhupada and Krishna.
Nice. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, I'm pleased to accept you as my duly initiated disciple, and henceforth your name shall be Lalita Priya Dasi. So, where is Saranga Thakur Prabhu? So what next?
Hare Krishna. We would like to express our gratitude to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj for doing this wonderful ceremony. His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. So the next part of the ceremony, we will be proceeding to Gauranga Hall, the facilities hall across the building. There will be a yajna ceremony, fire sacrifice. So please, if we have some kirtaniyas, we can proceed, the boys. They will lead the kirtan, and we can all follow them to the Gauranga Hall. And then after the yajna ceremony, there will be arati at 7 p.m. here in the temple room, evening Sandhya arati. And after that, there will be dinner prasadam served in front of Gauranga Hall. So that will be the rest of the program. Thank you so much. And again, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Also, we would like to congratulate all the first initiated devotees. And in addition to the four first initiated devotees, there is Her Grace Sukhasagari Mataji is receiving her second initiation. So, Haribol. So she will be receiving the Brahmana Diksha, and so she will also be participating in the Yajna ceremony. So please congratulate her also. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Jaya Radha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Ki bajayo jayo Gaura Chande Arati ko shobha Ki bajayo Gaurange Arati Shobha Jagajana Mana Lobha Dakine Nitai Cha Bame Gadadara Ki Badakine Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasachatradara Nikate Nikate Advaita Shrini Vasachatradara Nikate Ibabusi Ache Gaurachan Rasna Simvasane Ibabusi Ibabusi Ache Gaurachan Ratna Simvasane Ibabusi Arati Korena Brahmam Adideva Gane Arati Korena Brahmam Adideva Gane Ibanara Hari Adikori चामर दुलाया संजय मुकुंद बासु घोषादि गाया शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला की शंका बाजे माधुरा मृदंग बाजे परम रसाला शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंका बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्राजिने वदन उजाला की बहु गल देशे वनमाला कोरे जलमाला गला की शिवा सुकनारदा प्रेमे गद गदा की शिवा सुख पकति विनोद देखे गौर संपादक जय श्री सचय तन प्रभु नित्यानंद श्रीअद्वैत गदाधर शिव साधु गौरा भक्त वृंद जय चैतन्य Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare